The world had survived wars, plagues, and the quiet terror of its own inventions. Nations had risen and fallen. Empires had burned. Science had split the atom and whispered promises of salvation while sharpening the edge of extinction. Humanity believed it had seen the worst of itself and survived. But nothing in human history had prepared Earth for the day the sky itself would open. A world on the edge for centuries. Humanity gazed at the stars and wondered, were they alone? Or merely unimportant? Governments denied it. Scientists debated it. Dreamers hoped for it. The truth arrived not with wonder, but with fear. Deep beneath a remote shield facility, buried under layers of concrete, steel, and secrecy, rested an object older than human civilization and more powerful than any weapon ever created. The Tesseract, a perfect cube of translucent blue energy, had been studied, feared, and locked away. It was supposed to be dormant. It YOASN single quotes T. Dr. Eric Selvig stood frozen as monitors spiked wildly. Energy readings climbed past safe limits, past theoretical limits into realms physics had only whispered about. The cube pulsed like a living heart, its glow washing over the room in cold blue light. Shut it down. Someone yelled. They tried. The Tesseract didn't respond. Sirens screamed. Red lights flashed. The air itself seemed to vibrate as reality bent inward. Scientists ran. Guards reached for weapons that suddenly felt useless, and then space tore open. A violent rip split the air. A wound in the universe itself. From within, the swirling blue void stepped a figure clad in green and gold armor, his boots touching earth with deliberate calm. Loki of Asgard. The god of mischief smiled, not with joy, but with resentment sharpened into purpose. Betrayed by his brother. Rejected by his father. Exiled from the realm he believed was his by right, he was done being overlooked. With a scepter glowing with alien energy, Loki moved like a king reclaiming stolen land. One strike to Selvig's chest enslaved his mind. Another enslaved the guards. In moments the facility belonged to him. He took the Tesseract, feeling its power surge in response, as if it recognized his hunger. Loki, I had made a pact beyond the stars. The Chitauri, a vast alien empire, promised him an army. In return, he would give them Earth, and he would rule what remained. When Loki vanished through another tearing of space, he left behind ruin, bodies, and a planet now marked for conquest. Nick Fury arrived to smoke, silence, and broken dreams. Looking at the destruction, Fury made the call he had hoped would never come. We're going to need them. The Avengers Initiative was no longer an idea. It was a necessity. The heroes are called Tony Stark. Iron Man Tony Stark was building the future. In his sleek tower of glass and steel. Arc reactors hummed with clean energy. Holograms danced in the air. For the first time in his life, Tony Stark wasn't building weapons. He was building something better. Then Nick Fury walked in uninvited. Tony mocked him. Deflected with sarcasm, pretended the idea of an alien invasion was absurd. But when the data appeared on screen, when the impossible became undeniable, Tony's humor faded. Loki wasn't just another threat. He was proof Tony had been wrong. There was something out there. And Earth wasn't ready. Tony suited up not because he trusted Fury or believed in teamwork, but because the thought of standing by while the world burned terrified him more than dying in the attempt to save it. Steve Rogers, Captain America Steve. Rogers woke up every day in a world he didn't recognize. The war he'd fought was history now. His friends were gone. His values were museum pieces. But his sense of duty remained intact, untouched by time. When Fury showed him footage of Loki, of a god threatening humanity, Steve didn't flinch. He had fought tyrants who claimed destiny before. If you step out of line, Steve said evenly, gripping his shield, I'll stop you. God or not. Thor, god of thunder lightning, announced his arrival. Thor Odinson descended to Earth like a living storm, Mjolnir in hand, rage and guilt burning behind his eyes. Loki's crimes were his responsibility. His brother's fall was his failure. Thor came not as a conqueror, but as a man desperate to undo his mistakes, yet he underestimated humanity's resilience and overestimated his own ability to control. Fate. Love would soon clash with duty. Bruce Banner, the Hulk Bruce. Banner didn't hide because he was weak, he hid because he was too strong, living in isolation, Haunted by the monster within, Banner had made peace with invisibility. When Fury found him, Banner didn't see a mission, he saw catastrophe. "That's my secret," he said quietly, eyes shadowed with pain. "I'm always angry." The Hulk was both salvation and annihilation. Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow Natasha Romanoff trusted. No one, not even herself. Trained in shadows, shaped by lies, she carried a ledger of red she could never erase. She didn't need armor or godhood. Her weapons were precision, intelligence, and the ability to see monsters for what they were. She joined the mission because she understood Loki. Control was the cruelest weapon of all. Clint Barton, Hawkeye Clint Barton never missed. Master marksman, loyal to S.H.I.E.L.D. without question. He was the first sent to stop Loki, and the first to fall. One touch of the scepter turned him into a weapon against his own world. Saving. Clint would test the Avengers before they ever stood together. A team that couldn't stand together, the helicarrier became their gathering place and their battleground. Egos clashed. Tempers flared. Tony mocked Steve's old-fashioned ideals. Steve challenged Tony's recklessness. Thor threatened anyone who stood between him and Loki. Banner feared the moment he would lose control. Natasha watched, calculating every weakness, and Loki wanted exactly this. Captured deliberately, he let himself be imprisoned, knowing his words would do more damage than any blade. He spoke of humanity's need to be ruled, of heroes who inevitably fall. He was winning. Then the helicarrier was attacked. Explosions ripped through steel and sky. Hulk was unleashed. Thor was thrown into the clouds. Hawkeye escaped under Loki's command. The Avengers shattered. Phil Coulson died believing in heroes, and in that moment, something changed. Coulson's faith became their foundation. The Avengers stopped being individuals. They became a team. The Battle of New York, the sky above Manhattan, tore open like a wound. Chitauri poured through in endless waves. The city screamed. Then Iron Man cut through the clouds. Captain America held the line. Thor summoned the storm. Hulk roared and smashed. Black Widow fought through fire. Hawkeye reclaimed his will. Side by side. Back to back. Avengers. Steve called. Assemble. Earth did not kneel. Tony carried a nuclear missile into space, sacrificing himself without hesitation. The portal closed. He fell, and the Avengers saved him. A legend is born. Loki was defeated. The invasion ended. New York stood scarred, but alive. The Avengers didn't celebrate. They stood together, silent, knowing the world had changed. Heroes were real. The universe was vast. And Earth was no longer alone. Nick Fury watched them walk away and smiled. The Avengers Initiative had worked. But this was only the beginning, because when heroes rise, bigger threats follow.